Hey everyone, Steven the Salon Guy here, and today I've got a really cool step-by-step tutorial on what I'm calling like the new undercut, where it's not, this short on the sides and real simple 1, 2, 3, but something that's gonna be, I think, a new trend for 2016 with the undercut, something really, really cool. So let's do it. All right guys, so as you can see, I've got Taylor here, and you've seen Taylor before in some of my videos, and let's see, is he Taylor Lautner, DiCaprio? He's one of them, but
A mixture.
Yeah, you're a mixture. So what we're gonna do is actually, I want to leave the length on top of Taylor's hair, and what I want to do is basically create somewhat of an undercut shape, but a new trend where it's not really super short. It's still kind of disconnected, but some of it's scissor over comb going up to about this point. So we're gonna create an area that's all completely disconnected on the top, get out of the way, and then I'm gonna probably use like a really long guard down here to do a slight taper, and work this all in and do a lot of it towards probably about 1 inch to 1.5 inches in length all the way around. So it has the illusion of it looking like it's blended in, but it's really not. So when this kind of comes over, it's still gonna have kind of like a nice shape to it, but he's still gonna be able to kind of brush it back, but he's gonna have a lot less hair in through here, so it's gonna look a lot more tapered, and it's gonna be a good look for him. So this is gonna be a step-by-step, guys. So I'm gonna go wash his hair, and then we'll be right back, and then we'll start the haircut. So I'm gonna start in the back, and I'm going to use probably a number 3. Let's look down a little bit. I'm probably going to use a number 3.5 guard right into the bottom here, because I want to do a slight taper right into the back, but I want to cut this and leave a little bit of length going gradually up to about right here. So here's a 3.5 guard, and we're just going to, and as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm pushing the hair with the comb into the clipper. All right, and that always makes it much easier for me when cutting on haircuts like this, where the hair's a little bit longer and you're using a clipper. Now, of course, we just wash his hair, so his hair is wet. I don't always, actually most of the time, I don't use clippers on wet hair, but because I am leaving this a little bit longer working up, I wanted to. And it's okay to do it when you're leaving the hair a little bit longer. All right, I'm not using like a 1 or a really tight fade on this. I'm doing like a light gradual taper. We have the back done right into this area. And now what I want to do is go in through the side. So let's bring your head up a little bit this way. You always want to keep their head kind of positioned up. Now, same thing. I'm going to bring the clipper up to probably about right halfway up here. You don't want to go too high on this. You don't want to make this look like the traditional, undercut that everybody gets, where it's a 0 all the way up to here. You want to do a light taper on this and end up doing some of it by hand. So what I'm doing now is I'm lightly extending this in through the back. So I'm actually connecting this on an angle right in through here, as you can see. It's kind of going down like this. We're going to continue that. Let's turn your head this way. Do the same thing on the other side. I'm combing the hair into the clipper blade. That really makes it a lot easier, for me at least, because you can see exactly what you're doing. Yes, you're putting a solid line right into it, but that's easy to get out. Don't let that freak you out, because that's actually like a guideline for me. It lets me know where the next part is, where I have to cut it. So now, again, combing the hair into the clipper blade, and right around the ear, same thing. Comb it out of the way, lock it in position, and comb the hair down into the clipper like that. It gets a little tricky around the ear, but what I'm doing is I'm actually pushing the ear down right here, locking it in the clipper, so the bottom of the clipper is pushing the ear out of the way, and then I'm just scooping it out. Scooping it out and cutting with the clipper. And again, there we go, we're just connecting it now, and now I've got my guideline, and here's where I see where I want to work and continue. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my next guard, which is going to be a 3 3/4 guard, and I'm going to just do the same thing, extend this up. I'm creating kind of like my second guide. And now what's going to happen is now you can connect this into the back and go further up the head, because now we're extending that shape upwards now, and it's going to connect this way, which this protects us from going way too high right into here. So the good thing is that we can now visually see how this is all connecting. And You can go a little bit higher right in through here, and now we're just gonna continue throughout the entire back. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. As you can see here, here's what we got so far, and this would probably freak most of you out because you're like, whoa man, it's not done. But look, now all we're gonna do is bring that clipper up, just like that, and now we're simply connecting it. And now it looks fine. Again, I'm still constantly combing into the clipper. I'm constantly pushing the hair into the clipper. Now it's gonna spin, tail around a little, and now I've got a perfectly straight guide, and I know exactly where I wanna work and where I wanna continue this. So now we're almost pretty much done with the clippers, except for right here now. Once again, we gotta bring this up. Same thing like we did on the other side. We're basically creating a shape that is pretty continuous all the way throughout the sides and the back. Again, you don't want to go super high on this, but just high enough to where you feel comfortable doing the rest by hand. Because again, we don't want to create a super short disconnected shape. And he has a little bit more of finer texture into the sides here, which is normal on some hair types where the hairline or the sides, you know, around this area, it's always a little bit finer. That's normal. He's got thicker hair as we go further up, but right into the sides here, it's a little bit on the short or finer side. So we are gonna end up doing a lot by hand. So look, we've got this here, we've got this all the way throughout the back, and now it's time to do it by hand. Comb down, and you're gonna, you know, it's gonna take some time to do this. This is where a lot of practice comes in, and everyone's hair type really is different for this. It's better to do this on dry hair, I feel. That's why it's great that his hair is drying in a natural state, because when you're doing scissor over comb or clipper work, you know, you can see everything when it's dry. When it's wet, it looks a lot different. You don't see the steps, you don't see what you need to fade as much. But when it's dry, you can see everything. So that's why I'm glad this is kind of drying. All right, so now we're gonna extend this up just as much as we feel comfortable, about right up to here. All right, now remember, we're not, it still is disconnected, but we want to almost make the illusion that it is somewhat blended, but really technically it isn't. And that's what I think is gonna be something new and unique for undercuts, I think. You know, of course, yes, we're still gonna see the traditional undercut and all that, you know, where it's shaved really short and, you know, everybody seems to still be doing those. But I think this is going to be really, hopefully a new trend. If you want to have something a little more classy, you know, you want to, you know, you don't want to look like everybody else, I think this could be a good variety or good, you know, choice to go with if you're looking for something different, but still kind of modern and stylish. So what I wanted to do is continue this. This is basically going to be the same thing throughout the entire side here, the back, and also the other side. So you can stop the video if you want. You can do this and we can kind of reconnect when you're done. You can pause it. But basically, I'll be finished with this whole section when I'm done the back and the both sides. And again, it's the same thing. The same method, same technique going throughout the entire head. Now look how, I think that looks really nice. It's a really nice soft taper. As you can see in through here, really classy. You know, it doesn't look overly, you know, too short or too long. It's kind of perfect right in the middle. And I think this is a really good shape for a tailor. So continue around the whole head, and let's meet up when you're done on the sides and the back. All right, so Taylor's hair is now completely done on the sides and the back. As you can see, it looks really nice, nicely tapered down. And now we're gonna bring this all back and bring this over. And what I wanna do is I just wanna split this right down the middle, and I wanna create an even kind of cut so that when he wears it over, it's gonna have a balanced shape to it. I do wanna leave the front the longest point. You always wanna do that. You never wanna cut the front shorter. You wanna always leave the front the longest point. And by combing it in the center, or close to center, what you want to do is basically really simple. You can do it all in one shot for the most part. You see where the longest point is, you leave that, you comb it down and you just simply create a one length shape. That's all you're doing, is literally creating a one length haircut on the head. And you're going to continue to do this throughout the entire back, the entire head. Here we go right here. And you're just literally following this one guide all the way around to the front. This is probably the easiest part of the whole thing. And it helps if the client has longer hair to begin with. So Taylor, because his hair was growing out a little bit longer than since I last cut it, it already had some length to it, which actually worked out better. So here's the longest point right in the front, and I'm just going to skim those ends right there. And I'm angling this down, going shorter to longer, as you can see. Coming down on an angle this way. So that this is the longest point. I'm going to come back around because I didn't do the front. Comb it straight down and just lightly skim the front. And I'm only skimming it because of the dead ends, that's all. What I want to do is just create a little bit of some slight layering throughout the top. Just, let's bring this camera up a little bit here, just to skim the ends and give it some shape on the top of the head. And this always helps, because all these little pieces that might be longer in some areas might prevent the hair, all right, might prevent it from having movement to it. And this is the step that I notice a lot of people don't do. They just simply cut the one length haircut and they think they're done, and there's no shape to it. The client can't, you know, run his hands through it, or doesn't style properly. It's probably because of this. All right, it all needs to be balanced throughout the entire shape. And all I'm doing is bringing this straight up this way. The top now is probably about, I'd say, I don't know, 5.5 inches. And I'm holding it straight out from the head and just snipping the ends to make sure it's all even, all balanced, that it has some good movement to it. Okay, skimming the ends because you want it to look healthy, but also you want it to have a good shape. And here we are, last bit right in the front. We're going to comb this straight up this way and snip those ends. Now for the corners, don't forget, you still have to cut the corner here because that's still part of the shape. All right, it's still part of the shape. Don't leave this out. Just take off those little bits in the corner, which is really going to give it a much nicer shape and have a better flow to it. Spin them around. Let's do this corner, this side right here. Same thing. You want to keep the same pattern going. You want to be consistent with your shape. And this is going to really set you apart from the other people who don't take this extra step. You always want to take extra steps when you're cutting hair because it will really help in the end result. Let's take a look now. Let's put our scissors down here. We still have to clean up the edges, but run our fingers through it here. You can brush it over this way. It's got really good shape to it. You can go with the disconnection if you want. You can bring it all the way over this way. And it's got a nice, really nice kind of shape. You can go over this way as well and go back, and it's got a nice look to it. You can create a part if you want. He's got somewhat of a natural part, and it'll kind of almost like the Leonardo DiCaprio look a little bit when in some of his older movies when he was younger. As you can see here, it kind of just falls over the top. And this is a really versatile style and haircut. What I want to do is I want to spray some of my Tidal Wave, which is my sea salt volumizing spray, just to give a little bit of texture, a little bit of light volume and hold in his hair. It also has some heat protecting agent, so it's great for styling. And what we're going to do now is we're going to blow dry it, and then we'll see how it looks when we're done blow drying it. All right, guys, so this is one style that I want to show you of how you can wear your hair, or he can, you know, with this particular look. A little more kind of like wake and wear, you know, you want to go for more of like a surfer kind of look. It's got a nice flow to it. You just kind of swoop it over and it's just going to fall right into place, and it looks good. So, you know, you want to be able to have different variety and versatility with your hair, you know, so this is like definitely one way he can wear it. If he's like, I don't give a crap, you know, like I just want to look cool and no maintenance. So let's do it now where we're going to bring it all back and kind of create a little more of a, formal style, something with a little more volume in it. And all I'm doing literally is just raking this all back with my hands. The tidal wave gave a little bit of, actually a lot of nice volume to it, a lot of nice volume. And what I'm going to do is probably use my pomade because I want to give it a little bit of a sheen, and then maybe mix it with stinger paste. So let's do that right now. I'm going to use stinger paste, which is my beeswax paste, and then I'm going to cocktail it with money, which is my pomade. So stinger paste, simply I'm just going to scoop it out, take 1 finger scoop worth, and the way you want to do this is you want to put it in your hand and really work it into your hand, or else it'll clump up into a ball. So you got to really work it in, be aggressive with it, and once it all works through your hands like this, it's all kind of pretty much worked in. Then I'm going to use a little bit of money, which is my pomade, to give like that shine, a little bit of the extra shine. And there's no problem with cocktailing products together, because you think about it, each one is doing a specific thing. So I want to get nice hold, nice manageable hold, and also a little more shine to it. So good combination. So work this through, and already it's doing exactly what I want. I can see the shine from the pomade, and also I can see the hold and the manageability that stinger paste is doing. So it's actually working really, really nicely together. And I want to give kind of a voluminous type look, but something also a little bit more formal that kind of accentuates the haircut and the undercut. Let me get a view from this side here. It looks great. So let's give it a nice spin around this way so everybody can see. Looks great, looks really, really good. But at the same time, as you can see in through here, it's tapered just enough. It's not like super short where it's like a 0. It's still got a nice look to it even throughout the sides here. It's like it's almost blended to an extent, but actually it's all undercut in through here. So I'm really, really happy with how this came out. I think Taylor looks great. I had a lot of fun doing this. Always, right?
Always, always.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm actually gonna go in and mess this up. I'm just gonna go mess this up and go crazy with it. There we go. Now watch, let's do a little bit of a part. See, as a hairstylist, it's never over. It's never over. You can go over this way, let's go over this way. He's got really, really good hair to do this kind of stuff. This is kind of like this is where you look just like Leo, bro. This is like the Leonardo DiCaprio look.
Where's my Oscar?
You just got one, bro. You just got one, finally.
I know, where's mine?
Yeah, yours, yeah. It'll come one day.
Hopefully.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and also leave your comments. And we'll see you guys next time for more videos with the Salon Guy.